Steven was getting used to life on the Sodor Colony. So far, he was impressed with pretty much everything. I've heard lots of good things about this railway, said Steven. Oh yes, said Percy. I do enjoy working here, but this place isn't perfect, you know. Well, no place is, but why do you bring that up? Well, we are highly prone to accidents. Some of them seem a little bit too weird to be true. But I think one of our biggest problems is that since life is so good, when something bad does happen, it does leave a larger impact than it really should. How so? Well, a few months ago, we had this really wonderful lady. Her name was Miss Marine. Oh, she was God's sent. She was very delightful to be around. But she passed away. Well, people die all the time. I would know. One of her best friends was Bob. I heard you met him. And he's really taking it very seriously. It's been some time now, but he's still pretty affected by it. I mean, I understand why he's so upset. They are best friends. But it has been a few months, and I think it is time to move on. Well, I could try talking to him. Huh, you'll need luck for that. I'm surprised he even greeted you when you first arrived. And it was true. Ever since Miss Marine passed away, Bob became much more reclusive than usual. He rarely spoke more than a few sentences to anyone. A few days later, Bob had to make a stop at the docks. Steven was in a siding waiting for his train to be loaded with his cargo. He decided to try and make an effort to talk to him. "Hello, Bob," he said. "Oh, hello, Steven. How are you doing today?" "About the same as every other day, also known as pretty miserable." After muttering a few more inaudible phrases, Bob had to leave. Not quite as friendly as I remembered him, Steven thought. That was so cheesy. I don't blame him for not responding to you. "Hey, I don't see you trying to do any better," he complained. "You just can't please everybody," he muttered to himself. The poor guy really is suffering, he thought. Steven tried to come up with ways to make him feel better. Steven soon arrived at Knapford Station. He was uncoupled from his freight cars and ran off to the siding until his next train was ready. "Hello," said Stepney. He was shunting in the yards for that day. "Hi, Stepney. Hey, I'm just wondering, how long has Bob been like this?" "You mean very quiet and solitary?" "Ever since the day Miss Marine died. It was around December something, I don't remember when." "Oh, I was just wondering how I could make him feel better, but I think this is just one of those situations where time lets it heal." "You sound uncertain, but I have to say you're right here. We've all been trying to make him feel better and nothing's working." "Well, I'm not giving up quite yet," Steven said. "I want to make a few more attempts to try and come to terms with him." "But you guys aren't in a fight. Just Bob's really upset." "Well, maybe come to terms isn't the right phrase, but I think you have an idea of what I mean." "So basically, you're trying to comfort him, not come to terms with him." "Comfort, yeah, comfort. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and comfort him, not come to terms with him." Bob was stopped at a nearby station. He could hear everything. Oh geez, engine's trying to talk to me. Why can't an engine like me just live a life of solitude without being bothered? "You know what," Steven said, "I'm adamant on trying to talk to Bob. I will make conversation with him." Next morning, Steven shunted Bob's coaches into place. "I will talk to him today. I will talk to him today." "I won't talk to him today. I'll just be honest with him," Bob thought to himself. "Good morning, Bob." Steven, I kind of need to tell you something," Bob said, trying to hold in all his anger. "Well, what is it? Out with it." "Hello? Dude, I'm gonna try and comfort him. Are you there? I'm adamant on trying to talk to Bob. I do make conversation. Are you there? Come on, just be honest with him. Bob, are you okay? Bob. Yes, I'm fine. Steven, do you know how annoyed I've been for the past few days? You're always trying to talk to me, but I've made it really clear I don't want to say anything. But I was just trying. No, Steven, I know what you're gonna say. You're just trying to help me. Well, you know what? I don't need help. My problem is solvable, but it doesn't need to be solved right now. Geez, no one on this railway understands how I'm feeling. And that's the really annoying part. I tried to explain it a few times. No one gets it. I just want to be alone. Is that so much to ask? Bob stormed out of the station. Oh dear, thought Stephen. I've really done it now. Some people just don't get it. All Stephen could do was return for work, but all day he felt guilty. As evening came, Bob found that he felt guilty too. It was dark as Bob finished his last run for the day. Needless to say, it was also awkward. Bob backed out of the way so Stephen could collect his coaches. Stephen, I think I owe you an apology. I'll be right with you. Hold on. I think I should be the one starting this off. Bob, Stephen, I'm sorry. Wait, you're sorry? Why are you sorry? Bob, I really shouldn't have, butted into your business. This is really your own personal problem. You didn't ask for my help, and I really shouldn't have forced it on you. Well, I shouldn't have snapped at you. Can I ask you a question, Stephen? Sure, Bob. What is it? If you, ever lost a friend, say, what would you do? Bob, I understand you're going through a very hard time right now. I heard all about Miss Marine. It's a shame, too. She sounded like a very nice person. Oh, trust me, Stephen. She was the best friend I ever had. I used to take her all around the Sodor Colony, and she loved every moment of it, and so did I. Do you know how it feels to have an empty place in your train for someone special who will never show up again? Yes, Bob, I do understand. Bob, being one of the first steam engines, I've had many drivers come and go. Once you work with someone long enough, you kind of feel emotionally attached to them. So, when they pass away, it's natural to feel some kind of sadness for them. In fact, way back when, I accidentally killed someone. He fell under my wheels, and it's pretty self-explanatory. I was overcome with grief for so long, I thought it was totally my fault that he was dead. But it was an accident. It wasn't your fault. Bob, I'm sure you will know firsthand when I say that when someone dies, sometimes you think it's your fault, even though you truly know deep down it's not your fault. But you feel like taking the blame for it, for an unknown reason. The fact that I was involved at all was enough reason for me to think I killed him. Bob, do you regret anything about you and Miss Marine's relationship? I just wish I spent more time with her while she was still alive. Really? Because it sounds to me you made the most out of the time you had with her. This is the part where I'm supposed to tell you something comforting. Like, every time a person dies, they become a star in the sky and they watch you, or something like that. But I'm going to be very honest with you here. I don't know what I can say to help you. As absurd as it may sound, I think the best person to comfort you really is Miss Marine herself. But all I can say is that you made a lot out of the time you had with her, as I mentioned, and just be thankful that you had those times, and every time you feel sad about her, just remember one of those awesome trips you took with her. It may not be quite the same, but trust me, it's pretty close. Thanks, Steven, that was actually pretty helpful. I think I should go to bed now. It's pretty late and I do have some work to do tomorrow. Good night, Bob. I hope you feel better in the morning. As Bob slept that night, though, he had a very different dream than usual. It was just a day like any other. Bob was puffing to Napford Station to collect his train. A crowd stood outside the station. What's everyone doing here? Bob thought to himself. Bob, there's someone here to see you. Now, who would possibly... Standing right in front of him was Miss Marine. Miss Marine? Really? Is it... Oh my... Miss Marine, but you've passed away. That may be true, Bob, she said. But that doesn't mean I can't appear in dreams. This is so great! I thought I would never see you again! Bob, you must not let my death alter your life as it is now. But Miss Marine, it's so hard here. It's like there's no one else in the world to confide in. The engines, I mean, they're all great, but none of them understand me the way you did. You were my last hope. I know it'll be pointless to ask, but I'll do it anyway. Is there any way you can come back? I'm sorry, Bob. I cannot come back. I'm in a much better place now, though, so you don't have to worry. But without you, what have I got? I have no one else to talk to. Everyone else is just going to think that I'm some kind of crazy engine. Bob, we have some very understanding friends. Have you ever given them a chance yet? Well, no. But I've only been thinking how terrible my life has been since you've gone. Well, try talking to your other friends too, she said. They may be even better than I. Bob, just because I'm gone physically doesn't mean I've gone forever. I'm still around watching over you. You are? Of course I am. Now why don't we go just for one last ride? And with a cheering crowd on both sides of the tracks, Bob puffed away.